guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I'm excited because I'm going to be showing you guys my first impressions on this beautiful new palette from Colourpop. This is their Lust for Dusk eyeshadow palette, and they were kind enough to send this to me just to play around with. So this is not a sponsored video, but I did receive this as PR, so I'm super grateful that I get to play with it for you guys on camera and give you guys my first impressions and my opinions. So we're going to create an eyeshadow look using this palette, and I'm really excited because I love the Colourpop eyeshadow palettes. I use them a lot on my channel. If you guys are familiar with it, I just love Colourpop in general because they're so affordable. They are amazing quality, and I just love everything that they stand for. So this is their newest little 16 pan eyeshadow palette. So it's very nice because it's super compact, but you do get 16 eyeshadows. This is the front of the palette. It's really beautiful. You have those beautiful like smoky sunsetty colors and the gold detailing on the name, so it's just very pretty. So as you can see, the names of the shadows on the back of the palette. And you have that nice gold detailing. Then you have all 16 shadows. There is no mirror, which I of course always prefer a mirror, but they decided not to include one for this palette. But as you guys can see, you do have all of these beautiful shadows to play around with, and the names of the shadows are written on the palette itself, which I always love to see. So you can play around with this so much, you can create so many looks, and I just love the fact that you're getting so many shadows and it's an affordable price, so love that. And I love the theme of this palette. So it's inspired by, of course, Dusk, which is when the sun sets, and you have those like beautiful mauves and taupes, hints of rich chocolate browns, pops of peaches, and beautiful terracottas. It's just a really beautiful palette with some beautiful formulas. So they have mattes, metallics, pressed foils, and they also have the Super Shock Shadow formula in there. So you're getting like a ton of formulas in here and a ton of shadows. So I think that the looks you can come up with are endless, but let's just stop talking about it and get to use here. So I'm gonna just start by priming my eyelids. As you guys can see, I do have my full face of makeup on here. So just in case we get any fallout, I'm actually gonna put some under eye setting powder and just place it on my under eyes. So okay, so we have the under eye setting powder on, and now I'm going to prime my eyelids finally with this Morphe eyelid primer in the translucent formula. I'm just gonna take some of that directly on my lids. Just put a couple of dots and then blend that out with my fingertips. So I always like to use a primer because it just really does make the shadows perform their best and really adhere to the eyelids and last longer and crease less. So that's just something I always recommend when you're applying eyeshadows. So I'm really excited to finally get into this palette here, and I'm not sure what kind of look I'm gonna go for, but I'm usually more drawn towards the warm shades, and given that this is the Dusk palette, they have a ton of those like beautiful like terracotta colors, the mauves, the taupes, so there's just really beautiful shades to choose from here. So for some reason this like taupey chocolatey brown shade is really calling my name. That one there is called Hot Glam, and it is a nice matte shade, and it is so beautiful. So I think I'm going to go in with a fluffy brush and just place that all within my crease. So I'm just going to start blending that into the crease. So that color is blending out really beautifully, and I just love this like taupey chocolate matte shade. It just gives such like a beautiful, like just like kind of rich smoky look to the eyes without being like too intense. So I love this shade so far, and I'm not really getting any fallout, even though I am pretty handed when I apply these shadows, but I'm finding that there's not that much fallout at all. So these mattes are like so buttery and just blending out so easily. Okay, so knowing me, I know that I have to go in to this beautiful terracotta shade there in the palette. That one is called After Dark, and I'm going to use a thinner little blending brush here. This is a Colourpop E25 brush, and I'm just going to place that into the crease and kind of add a little bit of like an ombre effect with that terracotta shade that's going to go into this like beautiful like taupey chocolate matte shade. So we'll see how that looks. nicely with the first shade we used there. They're kind of like made for each other in a way, as you guys can see. There's like a really nice blendability there, and they just look really nice together. So I am loving that so far. That terracotta shade just added a little bit more warmth to the eye, but you still get like that taupey chocolatey shade towards the top. So far it's very nice. Super buttery and really blending out beautifully. Okay, so even though there's so many more shades in this palette that I do want to use, I'm just going to kind of keep this look pretty light. I'm not going to go any darker in the crease, but I do want to add some fun colors on the lid. So first I'm going to go in with this beautiful pressed foil in the palette. That one is called Quiet Storm, and it is like a really, really nice copper shade. So I'm going to go in with this Colourpop E13 brush. I'm just going to place that shade onto the lid and kind of just diffuse it there, so it's not going to be really defined, but hopefully we will get a nice copper metallic glow all over the lid that will blend into the crease. As you can see, that is with the brush there. Even though the brush was a little bit too big, I think, for the metallic shadow, I do want to try using my fingertips because I feel like this pressed foil will work better with your fingers. So as you guys can see, you get a lot more pigment when you're using your finger. So I'm just gonna place that with my fingertips and see how much more pigmentation we can get. So hopefully you guys can see that, but I think the fingertips work really well for those pressed foiled formulas that they have in the palette. So that one, you really get more of the intense like glitter look when you use your fingertips. So I'm kind of bringing that shadow just a bit above the natural crease line just to kind of make it look more like diffused and blended. So that shadow is really, really beautiful. It's like a copper base, but there's also like, if you look really closely, there's some like fine, almost like pinky glitters, really finely milled throughout that just really make this shadow super unique, and I'm just loving how the shadows are all working together. I think it looks really beautiful, and I definitely recommend using your fingertips because you will just get way more metallic pigmentation and it just looks way more intense that way. Okay, so I think I'm just gonna leave it at that on the lid. I just really, really love the way that beautiful like copper pressed foil shadow looks. So we're gonna leave it at that, and I'm just gonna wipe away any fallout and we will work on the lower lash line. And as you guys can see, there wasn't too much fallout, but any fallout that we did have wipes easily away because of that under eye setting powder. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in with this smaller blending brush. This is a Morphe JH40 brush, and I'm gonna go into this beautiful shade here in the palette, which is like a lighter version of this one that we used in the very beginning. So that one there is called Eventide, and it's really, really beautiful, and I'm just gonna place that all on the lower lash line. Okay, so I'm going to deepen up the outer corners of the eyes there using this dark shade in the palette with a little bit of like sparkles thrown in. That shade there is called That's Neat, and I'm gonna use this small pencil brush from Colourpop, their E28 brush. So I'm just gonna take that darker shade and just place it on the outer corner, on the bottom outer corner there, and kind of just smoke it out towards the outer corner. As you can see, I'm not really placing it on the inner corner at all, just towards the outer corner to add a little bit more smokiness. So now I'm gonna go into this beautiful shade here. That one is called Sunset Chaser, and it is like a really nice metallic champagne shade. So I'm gonna go in with this Morphe JH42 little brush there and just place it on the inner corners. That shade's a really nice highlighting shade. It's not too bright, but it does have a lot of brightness there, but still a little bit of that like taupey champagne. So that just makes it really nice and wearable for everybody. I'm just gonna fill in the waterline with this Colourpop Creme Gel Liner in the shade Honeydude. So this is just their matte nude cream liner. Now I'm just going to put on some mascara. This is the Colourpop Act Natural Defining Mascara in their black shade. So I'm just going to place that on at the top and bottom lashes. I'm just going to pop on a pair of lashes that I got off of eBay, and I will link the specific pair that I'm using in the description box for you guys. And then I'll be right back to talk about everything, the finished look and the palette, and you guys will get my final opinions. So that is the final look using this new beautiful palette, Lust for Dusk. And I really love the way the shadows performed, especially the ones that I used. I love how they just kind of all were like pretty much made for each other and they blended together seamlessly. I really love that pressed foil that I used on my eyelid there. And I definitely think it performs much better if you use your fingertips because it just really adheres to the eyelid so much better and you really get the full pigmentation. So love that shade. I'm really excited to use this palette even more. So if you guys want to see that, then please let me know in the comments or give this video a thumbs up. But I definitely have my eye on so many more shadows in this palette and more looks to create. So I will definitely be creating more looks using this palette, so I'm excited for that. But I do love this kind of like a warm, smoky, kind of like coppery look that we created today, and I just love it. I can't say enough good things about this palette. I really like the fact that you get some warm tones mixed with the cool tones, so it's just like a very versatile palette, and I love the different formulas. Of course, like I said, you have the mattes, the metallics, the pressed foils, the Super Shock shadow formulas, and just like it's very well-rounded, so I love that. My only complaint was that they did not include a mirror, which is unfortunate, but I mean, I guess for the price, we really can't complain that much, but a mirror would have been just taking this palette to the next level. But I do love the shadows, and I love how the palette is very compact, but you do get so many shadows. You're getting 16 shadows, so if you brought this traveling anywhere, then this would just be perfect because it's pretty much all you need. You have like highlighting shades, deepening shades, blending shades. You just have everything in this little palette here, so I love it. I love even the way it looks with like the gold and those like beautiful like dusk inspired colors there, so definitely gets a thumbs up from me. Let me know if you guys like this video. If you did, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and definitely be prepared to see more tutorials using this palette. Let me know what kind of looks you would like to see using it, and I would love to create it for you guys. So thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!